Hi, my name's Miranda Mellis. I'll be reading from Demystifications, which came out from Solid Objects in 2021 and is a finalist for the Big Other Book Award. Thanks to John for this invitation, and congratulations to all the writers. I should also say this book of aphorisms, poems, and citations, quotations, contains within it a really beautiful index created by Katie Amar, who is an indexer, among other things. And so this is part of the book. It's in the back of the book and forms a sort of poetic set of relations between the terms, keywords, quotations, and moments of the book. They're numbered, and I'm going to read around in them at random. Here we go. 29. Phobias, surveillance, narcissist, people whose legend precedes them, show trials, indoor parking lots, off-gassing, predators, bleach, drones, self-righteousness, subtlety, lack of subtlety. Liliana Mizrahi wrote, I am for myself a hypothesis. Osvaldo Lamborghini said, I said no to the mirror. 57. What is the social command? Who hears it and what do they hear? It was the first time he had been to the sea. He made a sculpture using only materials he found there. Then Blessing Ngobeni said, this is a sculpture of the sea, listening to itself. The burden of the past weighs heavy on his heart. History is best forgotten, he says, gesturing with his hand. I paint for the future. Marx wrote, the social revolution cannot create its poetry out of the past, but only from the future. Let the dead bury the dead. But history is not so easily forgotten. It has a way of coming back. Sadness itself. Susan Buck-Morss wrote of the dialectic that makes possible the transition to a socialist society. If future history is not determined and thus its forms are still unknown, if consciousness cannot transcend the horizons of its socio-historical context, then where else but to the dead past can imagination turn in order to conceptualize a world that is not yet? Moreover, such a move itself satisfies a utopian wish, the desire manifested in the religious myth of awakening the dead to make suffering into something incomplete, to make good an unfulfilled past that has been irretrievably lost. On another occasion, Blessing wore a cow's head stripped of its skin to an art gallery in Johannesburg. He wanted to know, once the cow's head was on his, if the other gallery visitors would appear to be human or cow, and what will be the basis, he asked, for racist discrimination when I am thus masked? 58. Cassie has had an astrological chart done for the credit rating system, which was originated by an abolitionist. Apparently, the credit rating system's Chiron is in Cancer. Her alternative credit rating agency grants you credence by asking, what is your real story? 38. Your silence feels vindictive. Maybe you're just busy feeling hostile. You're angry because I've understood you. You're angry because I've misunderstood you. Your revenge will be to make yourself too important to reply, but it won't work. I've known you too long. That is to say, you're already too important to me. Your new importance means nothing to the ones who love you best. 70. Politics. Can't keep up with, would prefer to ignore, are worried about, don't understand. facts. Facts. Can't keep up with, would prefer to ignore, are worried about, don't understand. Aesthetics. Aesthetics. Can't keep up with, would prefer to ignore, are worried about, don't understand. Politics. All antagonisms precede and await us. 71. Pseudo-fact is over if you want it. 73. Walter Benjamin wrote, The Last Journey of the Flaneur, Death. 30. With soil depletion due to capitalist genetics, food becomes representation, just a chewy sign. Food becomes the epitaph for food, nutrients, an extinct language, lost in translation. If everyone has their basic needs met, I'll lose business. But time is not a fish waiting to be caught. 54. Who regales the world on the topic of individual freedom, having stolen everything, even that concept? 53. She paused to see if she could sense the time being and heard the low rumble of the planet turning. 1. Getting up early is the cause of a long day. 2. She didn't know what was about to be said. She had to find out after. She knew what was about to be said. Was she hearing faster? How can you hear in advance? Hearing what hasn't yet been said. Hearing what's already been said. All the particles of the personal mind finally shown to be a crowd of strangers. All diluted thus, dropped into a silent, starless garden. 3. What happened to that giant building? Why is it empty? Its walls soft and green. It's turned back into a forest. After that, they never could think of architecture without thinking of water. After the landslide, a sheer wall of dirt, flat and punctuated by stones. I refuse to attribute my sudden and unwelcome feelings to anything at all. 16. Remember Virginia Woolf's little silvery fish of thought? It starts to glimmer forth but abruptly disappears when her protagonist is interrupted by the beetle enforcing spatial prohibitions on thought. If to wander in solitude subjects you to violence, you have been disinvited from thought, and there is no such thing for you as a republic. 51. A head on your right is turning towards you. A purgatorial mouth is moving towards the reply of your eye, the acquiescence of your ear. It says anything. It can't go on, it must go on. It speaks to what, of what, on what, toward what, about what. 52. Politeness is the price you pay for not wanting what is offered. When I was small, my mother told me, money doesn't grow on trees. Later, I told my sister the news, money grows on trees. We ran outside to check the spindly, hard-pressed tree growing in front of our apartment. A packet of food stamps lay on the sidewalk. We picked it up and opened it. It was empty, all the food stamps torn out. Adorno wrote, an exaggeration which no longer measures itself against something given or presupposed, something to which it could be reduced and which would account for its intelligibility, is neither an indication of truth nor a symptom of madness and delusion. It is neither thinking nor its opposite. Rather, it is thinking as gesture. 96. Not to-do list. Not to fail to help, not to claim exception, not to forget how to speak in case they ever stop talking. 98. Another idea for a TV show. It's called Office Hours. Every episode, someone different coming to office hours. 99. Fanny Howe wrote, "The person actually knows the planet and the cosmos better than she knows her own self. That disappears."